Hey everybody, Sam here.
And Angela, and welcome to our channel.
Welcome to the next part of the building of Sam's workshop, or our workshop, as was previously mentioned in the other videos. Speaking of the other videos, if you haven't seen them, there's a link to the playlist down below. We have our foundation video, our floor framing and decking video, and that brings us to this video, which is
Framing the walls.
oh yeah, this should go quick, I hope, because framing is always fun, because it does go quick generally. So hopefully I didn't jinx ourselves.
Let's hope not.
Otherwise,
Let's go.
for wall framing, I'm going to be using standard 2x4 studs. I will be cutting them to a total length of 7 foot 6 inches to allow enough length overall once we add the single bottom plate, the 2 top plates, and then have enough for the siding to cover the plywood in the end. I'm going to be framing the walls on 24 inches on center, which is not very common with building. However, for storage sheds or workshops of this type, and even residential construction, 24 inches on center has been found to be plenty adequate for support structures. You're able to maintain rigidity of the structure and not use as much material. I have my foldable sawhorses here. We're ready to go ahead and set ourselves up a portable workstation right here in the driveway next to the minivan, so we can go ahead and cut all of our studs to length. Then we'll carry them, put them on the floor, and start framing everything out there to raise the walls. You're going to be cutting these.
No.
You're not.
I'll measure, I don't cut.
See, this way we can pick the boards up, cut, and over. Pull and carry. What I'm going to do next is, with these 2 boards together, they are the top and bottom plates of this wall. I'm going to measure out and put the marks for my studs on these pieces, then I'll separate them and we'll have the marks for our studs just to line it up and nail it all together. We're going to be using more 3-inch long galvanized ring shake nails with our Paslode cordless nailer. We don't have to use galvanized for this kind of framing, but the box comes in 1,000 nails. I didn't use 1,000 for the floor, so I'm just using what I have on hand anyway. It's fine. So we'll do our marks and we'll start framing. So for this wall, we have 1.5 inches for our outside studs. So I put a line and then an X. And now we're going to space these 24 inches on center. So I'm going to go down to 24 and then come back 3/4 of an inch. Put a mark and then X, X. That puts this stud centered at 24 inches. So we'll go down 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 feet, all along the length of this board. I'm going to frame up what I've heard called a California corner. What this is you have your normal wall stud and you put another one flat right beside it. That way when this wall gets stood up and you put your other wall against it, you have a nailer inside for you to attach any kind of wall covering to. So I don't know if it's really a California corner, but that's what I've heard, so that's what I just called it.
Okay.
You like a, put that up there and tell me when it's plumb. Or you pull it till it's plumb. Okay. Still good?
Yeah.
Yep.
It's a wall! Ah!
We're getting framed!
It's huge! Okay.
Happy? Do it on the stud, not the California stud.
Yeah.
Okay. There you have it. We have one long wall framed up. It went super quick. I don't know the total time, but it was shorter than what I would have thought the total time would have been. So there you go. We have our angle diagonal braces in place, holding the wall perfectly plumb. It is totally nailed to the floor, and the two walls are joined together in the middle. So we are ready to go ahead and go back, cut some more studs, and start framing up our shorter end walls. The short walls are 12 feet total, although the framing is a little bit less because, you know, you got your back wall, front wall, taking up a little bit of thickness. Either way, should be pretty easy to do. So quit yapping, start working, right? Since this wall that we're framing up is going to go kind of on the inside of the long wall, I mean, you kind of see how we did the one already. we're going to use a technique or a term called burning. We're going to burn 3.5 inches. What that means is, as we measure to mark our stud location, we're going to hang the tape measure over 3.5 inches. The reason we're doing that is because once it's in place on the building, that 3.5 inch burn is the actual other wall's framing thickness. That's important so that you maintain your stud alignment for your siding and interior spacing, but mostly your siding. So we're going to burn 3.5 inches and then mark the studs on this top bottom plate, and we'll frame up our second short wall. As we begin to frame and raise this final section of the wall, I want to address the elephant on the workshop. And that elephant is the one that's asking, Sam, where's your doorway? How are you getting it outside of your workshop? What are you thinking? My reasoning for doing that is that, in my head at least, it's going to be easier just to go back and cut and place the doorway exactly where I want, frame up my headers, my jack studs, and everything of the sort at that time. I also want to be 100% sure that I want the door where I think I'm going to put it. So doing this now allows me to get the walls framed, keep going on with the project, and allows me time to really make sure that I'm putting the door exactly where I want for the overall layout and flow of the workshop. So that's Sam's reasons. Otherwise, normally, if you're doing off blueprints, or if you're doing this and you know exactly what you want, you would frame your doorway and your headers while it's on the floor and then raise it and be done. So I'm a little bit unconventional in that sense, but I'm also unconventional in a lot of sense too, aren't I? All right, everybody, welcome back. Today's name of the game, okay, at least the name of the game for right now, is to do the top plates on the walls. You always want to do 2 of them. So I'm carrying over 2 8-foot 2x4s, and I'm gonna go ahead and put it on this short wall to overlap the long wall, and then I'll cut off the excess whenever I'm done. So the trick is to just line up and make sure you're flush on your front side and your side, and then I'm going to use the 3-inch long nails and nail it in place. So there are 2 8-foot 2x4s, did the side, plus about 4 feet on the long wall. Now I'm carrying up a 10-foot long 2x4 to keep working my way around the top perimeter and put everything in place. Circular saw. All right, just in case what I said earlier doesn't make sense, I'm gonna shoot a quick video with my phone. So the walls by themselves look like this at the top joint. You have one wall overlapping and the other kind of butts up next to it. To make a stronger joint, you take your top plate and you overlap that. it kind of locks everything together that way. So whenever you do a double top plate, you want to make sure you overlap your joints, and it helps lock everything together. So that's what's meant by a double top plate. And I'm going to use my offcut to start this row, and then my 10-foot piece will go at least completely over top of the doorway. Make sure 2, 4, yes. It'll go completely across the doorway and almost spin all the way to the other side. I feel like I'm just talking to myself up here like an absolute schizophrenic person. Oh, and this is why we do this. So oh, cool, great idea, guys. Nobody's up here with me. That one shot out. I guarantee it. Oh, ugliness. Can't have nothing. This is why I can't have nice things. You know what? Wabi sabi. No, that's terrible. There we go. Double top plate is done. It took 2 10-foot long 2x4s and 1, 2, 3, 4 8-footers. Not bad overall. Now we can start framing up the roof, I think. Yeah, that'll be fun.
I have to say it looks a lot bigger than I thought it would be.
That's good.
It is.
When we started back when we started doing the floor framing and we just saw the skids, I was like, oh man, I don't know, it's not that big.
It looks bigger now, and looking like, because you can walk in it, you can see there's going to be enough room for all your stuff.
Yep. Well, my stuff plus a laundry station.
Yes.
Because in that interim, while we were living homeless in our camper, while our home was being moved to our property, that is going to be the laundry room, laundry station as well. Because we can dirty some clothes like nobody's business.
Well, we have 2 little feral boys that love to play in the mud, and there's a lot here.
Yep, there is. Well, it's a season of mud. It's the winter time. That's what we have. We don't have snow, we have mud. Well guys, do you have any questions, anything I didn't cover very well in this video, or just in general things you want to say? Leave us a comment down below.
Otherwise, we'll see you guys next time on one of the homesteads.
See ya.
Bye.
What you doing there? What you doing? You.
Wiping the mud off
You're
my
in
shoes.
camera. Step back.
I am.
Now you are. What are you doing?
I'm wiping the mud off of my shoes.
Welcome to mud season.
Yep. Guys, we'll see you guys next time on one of the homesteads.
See ya.
Bye. I feel like I've said that like 3 or 4 times today.
It's because your we've shot like 3 or 4 videos today. Double, triple, quadruple dipping the chip.